Hey, brothers and sisters, what's up? This is the Reluctant Nabi. Culture, in its broadest sense, is cultivated behavior that is the totality of a person's learned, accumulated experience, which is socially transmitted and, more briefly, behavior through social learning. In other words, culture is a set of learned and taught ideas by a particular group for that group. So when Afro people run around and say there is no black culture, there is. It's just not good culture, and not everybody was able to teach the culture. The black woman only group run around and say that they are our first teachers, but that also is not true. They are the only teachers and have been for a while. It's what happens when you sell out the good men. So let's get into this. We're going to talk about how integration and the feminist agenda, Coffined, the B-Fefail, deflection tactics for the conditions as to why they are no longer protected by the men, why the men no longer choose them, and why good men are running from them. All right? You got to understand this. These are women that had the right of refusal. All right? So let's get into a couple of things real quick. But first, let's get those thumbs up, likes. Well, never mind the like and share, but go ahead, like and share. Yeah, it feeds the algorithm. All right? But I want to hear your comments on it. This is what's more important. You know, all the rest of the stuff, if you want to donate to what we're doing, it's in the description box. We'll be heading to Brazil in September, and shortly thereafter, one of the brothers has a lady friend in the Philippines who is a teacher, and so we're going to help her out. Let them know that us Afro brothers are more than just about some Kuchiwana. All right? So, y'all know what to do. Now, I want y'all to pay attention to this. This is Gloria Steinem. All right? And this is her working as a CIA operative.
Gloria, at the festival, you worked for the...
I want y'all to pay attention to something, too. Pay attention to who she thought the CIA was, and then who the CIA ended up being, as to their political leanings.
Independent Research Service.
That's right.
Well, exactly when did your own association with the CIA start, and in what fashion? Did they come to you, or did you go to them?
In 1958, when I came home from India, I discussed with student leaders, past and present, many of them active with the National Student Association, this kind of small foundation to encourage Americans to go. They thought it was a good idea, too. I was then told by foundations and professors and friends that I should not do this, that I would get in trouble with the House Un-American Activities Committee, the American Legion, all of those 50s people. And I became convinced that it was impossible. It was at that point that the student leaders said to me that they had in the past received funds for international programs from the CIA, and that they felt that this was important and could also be partly funded by the CIA.
Well, I mean, did you feel that you really tried? I mean, did you go around to all of the wealthy private foundations, wealthy private people, and explain your point of view, and explain why you felt it was important that the United States be represented at these things in a certain way? What did they tell you?
They told me that, well, the Ford Foundation, for instance, told me that they thought we were too liberal and too controversial, and we would endanger their cultural programs in Austria. And the first festival was being held in Vienna. It was not encouraging at all. And the private individuals to whom I went often had particular points of view to put forward, which would have been much, much more restricting than the CIA funds were, which were free, and no one was told what to say.
You mean they were free? You mean to say it was easier for you to work for the CIA than a private?
That's right, that's right. And the reason I think that comes as a surprise, it did to me at the time. I had the conventional liberals' view of the CIA as a right-wing incendiary group, and I was amazed to discover that this was far from the case, that they were enlightened, liberal, nonpartisan activists of the...
In other words, she thought the CIA was right-wing. They ended up to be liberal. I keep telling you that the people that mean our demise are liberal. Why? Because liberalism attacks our family structure, our culture that we had before Caucasians decided to enslave the world. Culture, there's that thing, a set of beliefs and practices that are taught. All right? Only our culture was the culture of life, and the culture now that we celebrate, the culture that we were taught by our mama black, the culture of the left is the culture of death. Think about that for a minute. All right? Think about it. Now, this is where stuff just really gets jacked up for us. Now, remember, I told you 3 things. Why the black woman isn't protected. Why she isn't chosen. Why dudes run away. Afro men now run away from her that have sense. And this is, of course, not all, but I don't even need to preface that. By saying black women, I am eliminating the people that this does not apply to. But where we are here is that these women have been on the front lines of our destruction for a while. And we did not really understand the implications behind what she was trying to do. Because while she was loving us in the bed, she was stabbing us in the back. Oh, and loving everybody else in the bed too. The perfect double spy. Steinem, now a vibrant, energetic 81-year-old, says her most important lesson and inspirations came from black women. Now, this is according to blackenterprise.com. Remember, all these guys want us to wait on the black woman, are saying all these guys that say that they are pro-ADOS, pro-black, they are not. Because if they were, then they would understand that the Afro man need to take his seed somewhere else to somebody that's going to bear it, and then somebody that he can teach the culture that they want to learn to. But no, these dudes are part of the problem. This is why they know the black woman's an agent and still try to get brothers to stay with the agent that wants their destruction. Steinem goes on to say this, and this is a quote: I thought they invented the feminist movement. They being the black woman, okay? So she goes, I thought they invented the feminist movement. I've learned feminism disproportionately from black women, Steinem says. I realized that things being what they are, the white middle class part of the movement got reported more. But if you look at the numbers in the very first poll of women responding to feminist issues, African American women were twice as likely to support feminism and feminist issues than white women, she adds. You can find this entire article in blackenterprise.com. The link to this will be in the description box. This is why men are running from her. All right? Choosing her. We have been conditioned by the feminism, by the new set of rules that are written by primarily Caucasian people that's targeted at us as Afro men to keep us on the plantation, to keep us from bearing seeds outside of the plantation that they want us on, that whether the black woman look like this or less than this. And let me be honest with you. The one on the right that says meow, if she was a nice person, I kind of like the shape. But then when you're that out of shape, there are reasons you got that way. And the bottom line to those reasons is that you didn't care. Period. So you have this, but you have another thing. They do the laws of numbers too, probability. And that if they come out like this, they can get somebody to put a seed up in them so they could get a child to use in the system and perhaps destroy the person that was dumb enough to put a seed up in there. And a lot of these dudes that just thirsting don't realize what's going on until after it happens 9 months later. And then they're caught up in the system that these women wanted them in. Because it is that easy for them. But why is it easy for them? It is that easy for them because of the same reason that the Afro men are no longer choosing them. They're the ones that train their sons not to be men, but to worship them, to fear them. Oh, that's my mama. Period. That in your last dying breath, you're not thinking about the consequences of the thing that got you there. Remember George Floyd crying for his mama? You're not even thinking about a deity. You're thinking about your mother as the deity. Well, what's happening is that there's a lot of information coming out. And while these women have to now come to terms that, wait a minute, there are other options for us Afro men. All right? There are other options for the young men. And as they come to terms with that, they lose and they're not going to be chosen. And part of why they're not chosen is that the Afro man was raised by these same women, and he saw how the woman treated him versus how they treated the female. How they taught the females to go after men, to use men and destroy them while seeking the benefits of the state. These men understood, and they got the hell out of Dodge and didn't choose them. But this is why they're running. The other thing is, you'll either get the fake one that's advertising for thugs and the lowlifes, or you get the one that you think is very beautiful, oh, melanated, but no, she's talking to a Caucasian guy. All right? So now that we've learned that lesson, that even if we wanted her, we're not on her menu, or she's not getting herself in shape for us, the regular guy, worked the 9 to 5 that want to raise children to have a better life than we did. Since we realize that's not happening, the younger guys are moving on because they see what time it is. They see who their sister brings home. They see what their mom does in the home. All right. We got people running around in fear, talking about, well, brother, you know, you can't be talking about to the brothers that they need to go outside of the... Wait a minute. This is why the problem exists. This is straight why the problem exists. The biggest reason the problem exists is because them same brothers that can't wait to jump down the brother's throat as he's trying to depolice him are the same brothers that aren't brothers. They're just minions of the BAW. Until these dudes go tell the Afro women to be better people, we're going to continue to run. We're going to continue to not want them, and we're going to continue to not choose them. But in the meantime, while they're waiting around, hopping on the fence because they have the right of refusal, and while they have not learned an important lesson that they now have to learn, that now they have to compete. Until then, nothing will ever get solved in their favor. But things are being solved in our favor. Explain to you how this goes. This look good to most, but a lot of dudes, this is no longer attractive. To a lot of men, this is no longer attractive. And why? Because it comes with a bad attitude. You know, a bad attitude, and this is all you get. But all you're getting is what a bunch of people already had. And so you got the spirit that she got from those people because she couldn't control them. So now she's mad at you. And then she's going to try to make you wait before you can get all that. But then in the meantime, you're like, no, I don't want none of that. And why don't I want none of that? Because at the end of the day, there are other options other than this. That's the fatal flaw that the BAW made. For a long time, these women like this had access to all men. She gave it up to all men, with the exception of the good Afro man. She accessed the thugs, the Caucasian men, the Hispanic. It didn't matter to her. She just didn't want the good Afro man. And now, oh, hold on, let me mention this. The other reason she didn't want him is because she figured after she got run through by everybody, he had no choice, no option. So when it was time for her to come back to him, she came back to him and gave him garbage. But that's over. Now the brothers have options. Here's the thing. Options for us is bad news for her. And since she's unwilling to compete, she's losing. See, feminism, that bad attitude, is the nails in the coffin. But integration was the final nail. He said to these women that we're going to open everybody up to choose whomever they like, no matter who likes it or not. And the simps and the hoteps, all their stuff isn't working either. They want us to go after women that are quick to show their face up for cameras, but not really have our back. No, we're done with that. We have entered the no depolicing zone. All right? And we're choosing whoever is going to be loyal and nice to us and follow our ways, and the people that we can develop a culture with. That is not the culture of destruction. With that said, I'm out.